We're back, Jens and Steve back building the online course. This
Hello.
week we're looking. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Love your background.
Thank you. I had some comments about my boring grey background and the fact that virtual backgrounds were for wusses. So here I am with a real background and it's sunny and bright. So there you go. So today we're looking at sales process, compelling offer. It's going to be short and sweet because we're working on the content, like we can see the finish line.
Yes,
we're in the distance now. So
at least for the planning, so that you get recording.
At least, we got the whole load of recording to do. So which is going to be super fun. So let's dive straight in, mate. Let's get going.
Yes. So let me share my screen so we can look at the virtual board.
Mm-hmm.
So I straight away zoom into today's session.
Yeah.
So today we're looking a little bit into a topic that's called hook story offer.
Yeah.
Which I use, or at least the hook story offer part is from the ClickFunnels guys, because I love what they're doing and I think it's applicable to a lot of businesses. That's why I use it as well in my coaching. So starting off with getting a perspective, what are different taglines and possibilities you get people dragged into it? So maybe just zooming out again. So what I'm looking into today is how do we build a hook? So what are different tags, perspectives? What are different visual appealing topics? What are different video topics you can drag people into the interest space of doing an online course? And then we look into what is the story? How do you tell the story in a way that you catch the people after they got hooked from you, and then you present the offer afterwards. So that's a bit what we're doing. Starting with taglines. What are different taglines you might think of? And it's brainstorming mode, so it's nothing indefinite.
Yes, I mean the pop-up shop training, pop-up for beginners, online to inline, grow your business. Pop-ups work. Consider a pop-up strategy. Pop-ups work for all businesses. I mean, there's quite a few there. I don't know if you got them all.
What was the last one?
Pop-ups work for everybody. You don't. We've got online to inline.
That's a great one.
The pop-up revolution. I mean, online to inline is really relevant given our initial research came back from loads of e-commerce brands. So,
So if we move to visual hook, what could be a visual appealing perspective to get people dragged into it?
So I would say images of existing pop-up shops, of major brands that have done pop-up shops. Obviously, shops of busy malls. Pictures of busy malls, images of people purchasing. I'm playing around with some Instagram images at the moment of kind of that online inline, so kind of technology and shopping baskets kind of merging. So I'm hoping something along those lines.
That's awesome, because I mean, you're basically prototyping with what is appealing, what is getting tractions, and then you can use that to, if you have one that's performing particularly well, we can use that going forward.
So interestingly enough, over the last week or so, a really strong image has been a fashion designer picture. Somebody that looks like they're designing clothing.
Yeah.
Has really been very popular. So maybe stuff like or specific to fashion designer, home improvements, housewares. So it's kind of strong imagery around that. which works for Instagram. I'm not sure how we get that to work on an online course, but
Yeah.
there's just some of the things that are going on.
But the interesting part was that it might be the thing you see on the image, or it might be how it is presented in general.
Yeah.
There might be different perspectives. So maybe if you use a similar image that's just having the same way of look and feel, but a different topic, if that's resonating, or if it's the topic of fashion designer.
Yeah.
But that's exactly something you can play with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Video hooks.
We would need to create those. I mean, we could certainly do some filming inside malls to show, you know, online stores, inline stores. I was doing some stuff for another project where we've got kind of, you know, this is to you, I see, to you this looks like an empty store. To me, this is your next pop-up location. Cool. And again, that's an image that's tested well on other things right now. So clips like that. We could look at doing a quick kind of 30-second video from existing pop-up people, why it works. You know, what's the 3 reasons you did a pop-up shop? Maybe it's kind of video testimonial, like, you know, something like that.
I think that's on top. So as soon as you have people running through it, building up a testimonial base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've got video images from speaking events and actually, you know, people talking about the pop-up retail expert. I mean, there's some clips in there that we can maybe reuse.
Yeah.
And then I know that there's a lot of platforms now where you could just create, you know, images and music in a very you know, very clever way. I don't know. To me, it almost looks like that you. I was going to say that you didn't put the effort in, but you got away with the least amount you could just to make something, you know, pop. So maybe I'm not so hot on that idea. I mean, I know that these cartoon graphics seem to be very popular with people, you know. So maybe talking through that journey of, if you're an online, you know, if you're an online, you get somebody, you know, that's drawing cool. An online back over to a, you know, opening their store. That could be quite cool, actually.
And it's not expensive to create as well.
No, that's right. That's right.
I just added maybe an option is as well that you do explainer videos on specific parts, so that people get a like super small trailer hook of, hey, that's what you're going to get. Boom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe showing them an example inside of your video of what the real course is about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like a trailer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the born marketer, as I said last time.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Cool. Let's move to story.
Yeah.
So starting with a tool I use for getting prepared for the story. So there are 3 different ways of people gathering information, people getting convinced. And the base part is called logos, pathos, and ethos. So logos is the logic behind it. It's the reasoning for the argumentation, and it's mainly data and facts. Then pathos is the emotional part, which we go towards the story, and then ethos is the trustworthiness, style, tone of voice. From these topics, what do you think resonates with the people choosing to be, or what would resonate with? I mean, we have the online retailers and we have the offline retailers, so we have 2 perspectives. Maybe we do 2 different colors.
Yeah.
Or it's the same, which you will figure out.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think brick and mortar retailing, if you're in brick and mortar retailing, then the logic of doing something like this is that fundamentally there are some differences between long-term retailing and short-term retailing, right? I mean, just in terms of preparation and and the way in which you market and sell, right? So there are some distinct differences. Online, of course, it's a whole. This is, you're used to not interacting in a physical way with your customer now, or them actually, more importantly, acting in a physical way with you. So there's the understanding about merchandising and all the other things that the space, all the things that we've said previously. So
Yeah.
the logic behind that is very different. You would expect offline retailers to understand about location, about customer service to a degree, but you're just kind of maybe fine tuning it for the environment. The other logic around both of those, of course, is that this is a perfect vehicle for growth, right? Low cost, high impact, great, almost immediate results.
Yeah. So what did you say on offline again?
Yeah, so offline, so retailers will understand that there are different ways that this offer works in terms of the planning, the setup, the marketing of that, because you don't have your own storefront, so you're moving to a location. I mean that crosses over both sides, but a different way that you market as well.
Yeah. So if we go to credibility, trustworthiness, and tone of voice, what would be appealing to them?
So I think a number of things. We could split that out into small, medium, and large retailers. So looking at which big brands do pop-ups, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay. If big brands are doing it, then I think there's an immense amount of credibility in that, in terms of it must work. Now they can spend a lot more money on it. Obviously, that makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
So I think looking at what brands are working where, looking at how they go about it, as we would for all of them. In terms of medium, small, then I think that, again, that's looking at success stories, and we've got plenty of those. Taking businesses from one location to over 100 in less than 18 months, or looking at businesses that over time have started in one country and have expanded into other countries.
Yeah.
So there's lots of testimonials, there's lots of case studies, user cases that we can bring to bear in terms of that. And then looking at why landlords now put so much effort into finding pop-up people, and again, there's some user cases with landlords. There's a landlord right now doing a pop-up project called Project Pop-up, which is really cool, and they're doing some great stuff with that, but they're investing in it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that gives a lot of credibility, definitely. Cool. Emotional parts.
Well, I mean, there's the success factor for people growing their businesses. There's the fact that if you do this properly, so again, looking at online, offline, if you're an online brand, the emotional part of that is that you'll make a real connection with your consumer that will transmit again into probably continued online sales, but they will follow you, I think, with your pop-up journey or pop-up locations.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you watch people do pop-up retailing well. You can see how much fun they're having. I mean, it is an enjoyable thing to do. There is an urgency about doing this because it's short term. So there is a fun aspect in there. There's a, you know, we're not here long. We want to make the most of it. So I think there's that. I think the other part, going back into the success story side of that, is that there's also, if you do want to grow your business and you're passionate about growing your business, here's a vehicle that will enable you to do that. And again, it's not just retailing as well. If there's this whole industry of service brands, solar panels, replacement windows, replacement garage doors, lawn care, motor dealerships, chiropractors. I mean, they're just some of the people that I've worked with.
Yeah.
Right, where you can connect with your potential buyer, and actually in the sales process, it's far easier because I've been running some stuff. You've seen it on Instagram. It's called cold calling for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. That walking down a street trying to sell solar panels, knocking on people's doors, it just doesn't. Yes, one in 500 doors that you knock on, or whatever the number might be, but stick somebody in a mall, stick somebody in an environment where people are there that can touch, feel, and engage with that product. Then it's huge. There's some great numbers around, obviously, retailing as well. 78% of people want to touch, feel, and engage with the product before they buy it. It's something you can't do, online. So.
Yeah. That's super cool input for the next one. So if we look into story, and that's now, have you heard about the hero's journey?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it's basically a way of storytelling.
Yeah.
Where you basically guide someone through a perspective of a story, making them understanding of what's going to happen. What I always use is Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings is one of the most famous hero stories, and every action movie and so on is based on that, or a lot of at least adventure movies and so on. So it's like there's a person which is going through ups and downs, fighting battles, having different people with them as partners and so on. But in the end, they're kind of surviving. They're the hero. But before, they need to suffer, and it doesn't matter which hero movie you are using. It's Superman, it's every Spider-Man, all are based on this. So what I've used this for, when you look into storytelling from a sales perspective, is you need to hook them towards a specific story. So how can you put someone who is the hero of pop-up retail, and most probably in your case it will be a customer, like someone who built up a pop-up, or who did it, the business didn't went well, then they figured out how to do a pop-up, and then they went through all the struggling, building it up, trying it, how to do it, and then came up in building a super successful pop-up, which then helps them to achieve their financial goals from a business perspective. So that's a bit this perspective. What we use is a couple of guiding questions, and which help us to tell that story, just to kind of squeeze out the nuggets that are most important for the story. And then you would build that and write that in a script perspective, and you can fine tune that over time, that you really narrow it down. Maybe we need to do two stories. One is an online retailer who started to do that, and one is a physical one who is using your ways of thinking. So it's a bit like the testimonial perspective.
Sure.
So if you have a real story, that's most amazing one.
I do actually. Yeah. We had a guy in the UK that was in a very small store that wanted to either decide whether he was staying or going in his business.
Yeah.
And was looking for a way to either sell his stock and close down, or as it turned out, reinvigorated his business and went on to huge success. I mean, that you know, it's a really, I mean, a very nice guy who followed everything to the letter. I mean, you know, to the point that you know, 2 years in to his pop-up program, his pop-up strategy, he was booking year 3 in August.
That's awesome.
Make sure he could get the locations he wanted at the times he wanted.
So let's use that story just to run once around the clock.
Yeah, sure.
So I already started while you talk. So yeah. The starting point was there's a small store, decision to stay in the business or sell the business.
Yeah.
Then you said, so there might be a solution in reinvigorating the business from. So what was the biggest worry of him?
The biggest worry for him was that actually he would just go out of business without trying, you know, that he wouldn't, you know, he would just go out of business, that without putting any what's the word, how am I trying to say this, that if he didn't try, he was going to go out of business. So he had to try to at least know himself. I gave it, you know, I put the effort in.
Yeah. So and so it's kind of, if this guy would tell that story, this person would then say, I would like you to meet my mentor.
Yeah.
And that would be you.
Yeah.
And you would say, hey, let's try this.
Yeah.
Which is your online course.
Yeah.
And what would you need from them?
Yeah.
So whom they would need support from?
Well, so who would they need support from?
Yeah.
Well, they would need support from the mall. They would need support from their consumers. They would need support from me. They would need support from their own teams. So.
Yeah, perfect. So then you would say, let's prepare by
looking at what the aim of your future is. What are your goals in the future?
Yeah. Then you will say, it will be a battle of.
It would be a battle of time, resource, and commitment.
But the reward will be
exciting, rewarding, and compelling.
And from a physical perspective,
you will have either an exit strategy, obviously, or you will have a sustainable business.
Love that. Once we can see the finish line, we might also try
repeating the process over and over again, because that's exactly what you would do.
We will all benefit by
more customers, bigger sales, more stable business, yeah.
So the final solution is
having a pop-up strategy at your local mall or as a roadshow.
So as easy as this, if you now imagine you tell that story in a compelling way, you can do that in a video, in a written script, in whatever. And now for you, it's always more lucrative at least in my experience, that someone else sells you. So
yeah.
If the small store owner, what you mentioned, is telling that story, and of course you can refine that. That was like the fastest way in doing it. It will be super strong.
Okay.
So what's the offer?
So this, I think, is our biggest. This is our biggest hurdle. You know, I mean, the offer is in terms of the physical offer or the financial offer.
Physical. So
well,
it's more from a pitch. So you want to sell an online course?
Okay.
What's the offer?
So the offer here is so this is an online course that will take you from knowing nothing about pop-up retailing to having the tools and the knowledge to open your first pop-up location.
That's awesome.
It's going to. I mean, it will give you. Obviously, it will give you the. You know, it will fill in the gaps in terms of how you. Well, the way that you do things. You know, it will give you. It will show you a proven process for everything that you need to do and consider to get you to that first day of opening, and then we'll guide you through how you build on those foundations to grow your business using a pop-up strategy.
Yeah. Now turn this around and start with them. What's in it for them? So now you have described what it is. What's in it for them?
What's in it for them is the ability to build, the ability to grow their business, or to start a business, of course.
Yeah.
There's the what else is in it for them? There's this will make them a better retailer. You'll become a better retailer. You'll become better at customer service. You'll become better at recruiting, at team building, and planning.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the confidence to grow or expand your business. Yeah. So yeah.
That sounds different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one key part is in selling in general, it's all about them. It's not about you. It's not about the product. It's all about them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's basically why I'm so keen on this hero journey and the story, because it's
sure
you explain the benefit in a way that they understand it without you actively selling it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the last pitch is basically summarizing the offer in a way that it's what's in it for them. And then you go, by the way, there's an online course which is helping you do exactly that.
Yeah.
So where you basically if we just zoom out. So it all starts from our first meeting where we looked into what are the needs, dreams, and desires of your customers, of your potential customers. Mm-hmm. You try to hook them, you tell them the story if they're open to listen to it, and then you pitch the offer to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they get basically dragged into your world from a hook perspective, which is an interesting thing, they click on if it's an online version, then they maybe see a video, someone else explaining this story, and then you show, oh, that's the offer. That's what in it for you. And by the way, there's an online course which helps you to do that. So that's a bit the strategy behind that.
Cool.
Fast track today.
Fast track, 30 minutes of brainstorming. Fabulous.
I have the 30 seconds coaching on Instagram and TikTok, and you are the 30 minutes coaching.
30 minutes brainstorming. If you haven't seen Jens's 30-second coaching on Instagram, go and find it, because they're bloody good. They're bloody good tips, man. I enjoy looking at them. I enjoy looking at them immensely. All right. So listen, everybody, thanks for watching today. We might be ramping this up to kind of a couple of videos a week as we get to the finish line on this, because we want to get this course out there for you all. So stay tuned. Again, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you very much.
Same. Thanks.
Learned a lot today. See you all soon.
See ya.
Take care. Bye-bye.